Well, Trever, welcome to the Partially Cooked Podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, how's it going? Nice and 160 degrees, rare chicken style.
Nice. If anyone that's never seen this show before, watching for the first time, what we do is we gather 5 very funny comedians from around the South, and we interview them on our podcast, ask them weird, invasive questions, get them to open up, and then the other comedians that can use it in a no-holds-bar roast battle that we do once a month at the Joint Comedy Theater here in North Little Rock. And this show is this Thursday, May 1st.
Yep, coming up quick. Thank you so much for taking some time to be here, Trevor. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for invading me. I'm excited.
Invading, yeah, hell yeah. So,
very ready to be invaded.
Excellent. First thing, we always like to start out with, getting to know you as a stand-up comic. So how long have you been doing stand-up, Trevor?
Actually, I think I might have just missed my 11th year reminder on Facebook.
Okay, 11 years.
11 years.
I actually, I think this April, sometime around the last few days, it's 11 years.
Well, congratulations.
Too goddamn long to be living in Oklahoma is the answer to that question.
Hey, Oklahoma's doing good things, man.
No, honestly, it's a good place to accidentally be at this point.
Right. All right. So what do you think is the strangest gig in your 11 years that you've ever taken? What's that one that's...
I mean, that's kind of... That's like a delineation of like, does strange mean bad or does strange mean strange? Like I run a monthly show in Joplin one time where I had a drunk guy. He walked into the center of the crowd of about 60 people. He put his pants down to his ankles, bent over, spread his ass cheeks, and then just like pulled his pants back up and walked back into the crowd and sat down like nothing happened. And then that guy proceeded to like get talked out of the crowd by an audience member. And then, because he was so fucking drunk, they went and had a cigarette. 5 minutes later, they came back. They're like, "Hey, man, sorry." And he sat in the back and watched the rest of the show. They tried to take his keys, so he couldn't leave. And they did take his keys because he was trying to leave anyways. But he went, this has happened to me before. Reached into his boot, got his backup drunk man key, and then proceeded to crash his motorcycle.
He was on a bike?
Yeah, dude, he took off in the alley, fucking spilled it, taking a left out, and then hooked it back up and just sputtered away. So it clearly has happened to him before. But then there's other shows like, performing to nobody outside in the rain at 10:30 in Tulsa. So
right,
that's fair.
Yeah, but I think the seeing a man's gooch, that was that special experience for me.
That definitely
that's top of the list.
Right, I like that a lot. I also like whenever there's a drunk heckler, like the last thing I want to do is take their keys. Like, let them go. Like they can leave.
Yeah. Well, I had I immediately absolved myself of all responsibility in that situation as showrunner because that's not my fucking business.
Right.
It's I'm not legally liable for that. But the audience guy did try to take his keys. And clearly he had backup keys.
That's impressive.
I mean, at least he was on a bike.
What if he goes?
Because if he's not in a car, it's not like you're way less likely to kill a family on your way home if you're on a bike,
right? Versus
in like a truck.
That's just attempted suicide,
right?
It's really not that bad of a risk case there. But yeah, I think that was it. And it was unfortunate because I was sitting middle of that aisle because it was like I was just watching. It was a Levi Light and Leighton Flat. It was those. I don't know if you know those two. They were headlining the show that week, but I was basically front and center right down this man's alley. I thought I was going to lose my show, but we've gone an additional, I think, 20 months, so we're good to go.
Nice.
Wow. So I know 11 years. I know you perform from the border of Canada down to the border of Mexico. What do you think?
I was actually just on the border of Canada.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're all over the place, man. It's we're really excited to have you on our podcast. You're very prolific as a comic. But
prolific's a strong word for that, but thanks, I appreciate it.
We got to know, like, what's the worst bomb that you've had in your 11 years?
Oh, I think that for sure evens out. I've definitely had equivalent bombs of it's just I want to die. But I think that it averages out to like bombing in important moments where like, for me, it's like weeks of bombing. So like I've had like important club weeks that I thought were like gonna like make or break the difference, where I was performing with somebody I really liked, and then just a solid 5 days of nothing, or just lukewarm, weird, awkward, like
that's the
host
worst.
sets.
Yeah,
Where just you're like, God, I'm trying to like prove to people I can do this job, and I want people to respect me because that's all I care about is people who I respect respecting me. It just doesn't work. So I more think about those moments over individual bombs because it's a law of numbers, man. You're gonna not do well if you have 1,000 sets. A few hundred of those aren't gonna go well
naturally. And those weeks when you have, especially when you have like a headliner you're trying to work for, or somebody that you want it to go well, like you said, because you want them to respect you, you put so much work into it, and then when it doesn't go well, man, that's really disheartening. And it takes a special character to be able to just move past that, realize that it's just another set, and get right back on the horse.
Yeah, and I have the type of anxiety that internalizes those kind of situations. So I feel like every single small mistake I make is like the end of my career. So like, oh, but then you have to remember how like the average amount of fucked up most comics are, and you at least fall within the reasonable bell curve of that.
Right.
Yeah, right. That's very fair. That's honestly, at some point, bombing becomes funny to you as a comic. You never want to bomb, but like it's not as scary as it was your first like 3 years, like
it just doesn't, like, I think of comedy as like a binary. It's professional comedy where like you're doing the job for like a paying audience, where like you either can make an audience laugh or you can't on most nights. So it's like a pass or fail at a certain point where you're like making money to do club stuff, and then past that it's it's not going to go well sometimes, but I know how to do the job. It's just,
especially at 11 years in, you've done it enough to where the ebbs and flows, and some nights you're just not on, or the crowd's not feeling you for whatever reason, and you've got the next
and even then, I think over time you develop this like intuition of that might have bombed, but like I did everything I could.
Right.
It wasn't like I no longer question like whether or not obviously it's always you. I think whether or not your performance always falls on you. It's never the audience. It's never really anything else. I think in every situation somebody could pull it out. Whether you can or not, that's to be decided. But sorry, I kind of lost track of what I was saying.
No, you're good, man. And something that I've always said is that sometimes on those rare occasions, even when it is the audience's fault, if you blame them, that doesn't make you better. You're like, you don't.
Well, exactly. That obviously there are variables where sometimes audiences are just shit for sure. But like, you know what I mean? Like you have everything you can do within reason. And I think experience gets you to a point where you're more sure at a higher percentage that you did what you could.
Right.
That's fair. So speaking of bombs, what do you think is the lamest joke you've ever wrote? Like the joke you hate.
Like jokes that I obviously have written thousands of lame jokes, but like jokes that I wrote and then was like, I'm still going to keep doing this because it's like, because like I have jokes that I hate that I do because like, it works and you can pull it out. I'm not so much anymore, but just like over the last years, like I used to have this big chunk about McDonald's. Just about just like general corny stuff, stuff that you figure out that like that will make an audience laugh, but it's not necessarily something you enjoy doing.
Right. It gets the job done, but you're not proud of it. It's not like you're calling your comic buddies like, hey man, check out this joke I just came up with.
Yeah. Like I specifically had a joke about the McDonald's app that I was doing for a long time. It's about how like the McDonald's app is how you get addicted to McDonald's if you have McDiabetes on a discount. But I think I feel like a lot of my material is more corny than I'd like it to be. I feel like that's like a personal problem with me as a comedian.
Yeah.
Like it's a constant battle with my inner corniness.
I get that. Moving on to questions about jobs. So outside of stand-up comedy, what pays the bills for you?
I edit videos for another stand-up comedian.
Nice.
I edit videos for Sammy O.B. His special just came out, I think it was back in February. I think I've been working with him for about 6 months. I'm basically an indentured servant to another comic.
I hear that. That's
I'm just kind of hoping it works and it'll work eventually. I'm working with him in May eventually, or next month. Speaking words.
That's something that has been a good side gig for me, is editing videos for other comics. Every show I go to, I set up cameras and record the entire show, and then have comics pay to have their set edited for them. That's been a especially for young comics, if you can find a way to get cameras and recording equipment, that is a really good side gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had like a real like W-2 job since like 2019 ish, around the pandemic. I went into weed for a few years, where I managed a pot farm out in Bristol for a few years, kind of over the pandemic. Yeah, we had 3 greenhouses and 6 acres of weed outdoor, which is, you shouldn't do outdoor weed in Oklahoma. We have tornadoes. It's really stupid to do.
Yeah.
We ended up getting hit by a tornado. It was a shitty situation. But that kind of just transitioned into hustling. When I got off the farm, I knew enough people that I could trim weed for, that I survived trimming weed every few months. And that kind of gave me I think comedy is at a certain point, it's very pay to play. You need to be able to afford to go places at a loss until you can go there, to break even. And then eventually you go there, make $50. And that takes you have to figure out how to put your life in that position.
Right.
So I was lucky enough to where weed, I can go trim like 2 weeks of weed, trim 30 pounds, make $3,000. You live off that for the next few months. And that kind of just transitioned into, weed eventually died out, but I learned from, if you do comedy long enough, and I think comedians should think about this more, you have a lot of marketable skills if you know how to sell it, especially in like the marketing field and stuff like that. So if you know how to like spin what you do creatively in a way that can sell stuff for a company, you can figure out how to make a little bit of like freelance money on the side. So I went from like weed stuff to like writing work on Upwork, where I was like writing emails and shit and like doing ad campaigns. I just wrote a bunch of like concepts one time for a jewelry company out in Australia, because they just wanted they didn't have ideas for like what to film for their advertisement. So they just wanted a big pool of shit to throw at the wall if they needed it.
Yeah.
And then that transitioned into video editing, and I was lucky enough to find Sammy, where that's just like I think a correlation of a lot of things, where I've been doing comedy long enough to where I understand how to edit comedy and I know how to edit videos. And he needs, like I said, he's putting out an hour a month on YouTube right now.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he a lot of topical stuff. So he's developed a really niche audience that like very clearly values his perspective. So they're hungry for what he has to think about whatever's going on. So he does a lot of topical stuff. Like I'll get I'll get a chunk from like Seattle of him talking about something very topical. It'll be edited into like 23 to 40 minutes of YouTube content, and he'll put out one of those a month. And that's not including like all of his short form stuff. But he has I think he's close to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube right now. He's popping off with that crowd pretty heavy.
Yes.
So I'm very lucky to get to work with that guy. It's not like the best money, but it's good money for what it is. And it also gives me like freedom. And I think it's important to understand, to see how crazy you have to be to like make this work at certain levels.
Yeah.
Because that guy, he's like on a perpetual world tour. He just got done with, I think, 14 to 16 days over in Europe, where he was in a different European city every single night.
Oh my God.
And I think he holds like an unofficial record for Sammy is a specific case study. He's like particularly crazy, but you have to be.
Right.
You really do, like with the work. I mean, he's literally everywhere. So, to give you an example, I think you guys will understand. I'm talking my ass off. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Keep talking. Keep going.
Please, we love it.
To give you an example, the first video I edited for him was a clip of him in Amsterdam. And then I had to update the dates on like a short form clip the next day. And he was going back to Amsterdam with another hour 7 months later.
Jesus Christ, man. Like the work ethic to put out that like an hour a month is insane.
Well, and I think we're going to enter in a phase of comedy for better or worse, just as an industry, where I think, especially if you have people looking at you for your perspective, that we're going to be, quality is going to matter a lot more than quantity at a certain point. Like obviously how good it is matters. You're going to be able to have to write a joke, but output, you see guys like Josh Johnson, Sammy's kind of doing his thing where there are guys putting out an hour or 2 hours every single month just on topical perspective stuff. And I think we're going to reach a point where, hopefully we don't, because it sounds exhausting, but it seems like the inevitability where that's going to become the thing. Because there's always I guess, metas, if you're a nerd and understand video game culture, of like comedy meta for social media. It's been crowd work for the last few years. It's going to change. It's going to turn into something else. I think that attention span thing is dying. And I think it is going to be like inundation. You know what I mean? Flooding with content. They're going to want something all the time because we have like an undeniable pressure as comedians to be entertaining while everybody's pooping. And that's a lot. Like we used to. But you do, like, and if you're not, then you're just, not being seen.
Absolutely, man.
Somebody else is.
I really feel like
there's constant stage time.
And what you said about at some point, comedy becomes pay to play. That resonates with me a lot. Like,
it's like anything.
It costs so much money to do this, and there's so many comics that like they think, well, they're like, I'm going full-time comedy. I'm like, my brother in Christ, you're 5 years in. You don't even have a solid 20 minutes. Like,
it's a whole business too.
Just say you're unemployed.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, just say you're unemployed. Just
say you don't have a job. Like you're not a full time comic. Like, that's you're lying.
Well, and then there's just so much that like. I don't know. I don't even think of myself as like a full-time comic whatsoever because I edit videos. But like, I'm really proud to have reached a point where all of my money mostly is pretty much coming from the comedy industry,
Right.
just because it's editing and stuff. And even then, it's I don't know. You have to be able to afford to be so poor for so long.
Yeah.
So like, it's just or to have a really good side thing. Figure out how to hustle. That's what I'm thankful that comedy's taught me how to do, is like it's put me in the spot where I had to figure out how to make extra money.
Right. Yeah.
And it taught me that you can, which is taught me what a human hour is worth. Like the idea of working somebody for $17 an hour is disgusting when you've actually like sold your own labor for what you're worth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you understand like what you could sell an hour of skilled labor for.
Right. So this is kind of in the same vein. So you talked about working at the weed farm for a little bit. Back when you were still working regular W-2 jobs, what is the worst job you've ever been fired from or quit?
I worked at Russell Cellular, which was an authorized retailer of Verizon Wireless.
Okay.
It was in Miami, Oklahoma, which is the same place I went to community college.
I've done a show in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there.
Yeah, haven't we all? Yeah. It's not a good place. Where'd you do the casino?
Yeah. I went to the casino there, what is it, Looney Saloon or whatever it's called?
Yep.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy?
8 years.
Okay, was it a bizarre gig?
It was a bizarre gig. Yes, it was.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna have some stories to talk about.
Oh yeah,
Really Bizarre paid me my first $20 ever.
He was the first person to pay me to do stand up as well.
Man, he paid a lot. People have a lot of things to say about Billy, probably rightfully so.
Yes.
But he paid a lot of people their first money. And that's, I think, something to say for that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know that I did a show for him in Sand Springs at a bar where he promised me $60 and didn't have it. I think he spent it on pills or something. But
I was to say, did he have pills? Because that was also an alternative.
Yeah. But after the show, he like took his hat off and was going around like an usher at church from the crowd trying to get people to tip in.
No, dog. He would try, man.
Yeah.
He would at least feel guilty about it publicly.
Big.
Yeah.
But no, I got fired from that job because they had this buyback program where Verizon would obviously, like, you could give your phone in for like you could sell your old phone to them and they would give you money. And at the time it was like iPhone 4s, and Verizon was offering like $125 for iPhone 4s. And this like dentist came in, wanted to upgrade basically new phones to just like the brand new phone. Mm-hmm. And we were going to offer him $400 for all 4 of the iPhones. And like I knew what phones were selling for at the time, so I was like, "I'll give you $600," and then I sold them all on eBay for like 3 times what that was.
Nice.
And somehow my manager caught wind of that and didn't like that situation, and she came in. She was like, "Hey, you can't do that."
Right.
I was like, "Why?" He was fine with it. But anyways, it was like $1,200. It probably wasn't worth it. But then the manager was a cunt. I went into that Verizon. I wanted to sell cell phones so bad, y'all. That was like my dream job.
Yeah.
Like coming out of college. I don't know why. I didn't have cell phones when I was a kid because I was poor. So the idea of selling cell phones, that was like baller status to me as a 21-year-old fucker. So I was really, I went into this Verizon like once a week, every day for a year, trying to get this fucking job, just like showing my face, being like, "Hey, you guys hiring? I want to sell cell phones. Help me sell cell phones." I ended up getting hired. The guy that hired me, we ended up becoming really good friends. He ended up moving to Arizona and killing his girlfriend in a drunk driving accident, unfortunately.
Holy
Going to prison.
What?
Yeah. That was a story in itself.
He's a great guy. Real good friend of mine. Killed his girlfriend, but great guy other than that.
He ended up getting fired. And I had to they ended up hiring this lady. I trained her basically as a manager, and then they fired me. But I think years later, I got a letter in the mail, and the manager that fired me ended up getting sued in a class action lawsuit because it turns out the district manager fired a bunch of people and replaced them with her personal friends. And it was like this whole thing that I just, was a stupid idiot and didn't sign the paperwork at the time, but I might have been able to make a little bit of money off that years later. But yeah, I got fired from that job. Was there another second part to that question?
No, but this leads right into our next question, what is the biggest lie you've ever put on a resume?
Biggest lie I've ever put on a resume. I don't know that I've ever lied on a resume.
That's pretty common.
The last time I submitted a resume, I was like, I don't know, in college. I haven't. Yeah, I don't think I've lied on a resume ever. I'm a nice boy, good Christian, going to heaven, unlike you fucking sinners. Sorry. I apologize, you heathens. You're sitting crisscross applesauce. That's an alarming display of athleticism from a bearded man. I just have you know.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it, man. I'm feeling kind of flexible today. Because
it's
this
terrifying.
recliner, if I put my feet up, it's just weird because then I just have my feet right at the camera.
Is that a plastic loony bin cup?
That is so.
Yes.
That is a plastic loony bin
Disgusting.
cup.
Interesting way to get Jardia. Sorry. Let's.
This is my cat's
disease.
decoy cup. Here in a little bit, you'll see my cat walking around, and he steals water from human cups. So we put this one here as a decoy. He thinks he's stealing our water, but really, this is just his.
So your cat's a Mexican. That's noted. Understood.
Dude, nice use of the word Giardia. I love that.
I use it as much as I can. It's a fun waterborne illness that I don't think people have enough excuse to use.
Isn't it dog only, right?
No, it's
I
humans
think
can get
so.
it.
I didn't know that. I called my dogs the Giardians of the galaxy.
That's really funny. I don't know why alarming medical names are always so beautiful.
They are really funny, dude. Like if you get a really outlandish disease to say you're suffering from it, man, I got fucking parvo this weekend.
Oh yeah, that sucks. You got a really long, nice Latin one, say it with a French accent, get laid and die. That's cool.
All right, our final question relating to jobs is what is the dumbest thing a boss has ever asked you to do? Okay. So I used to for 5 years, during college, I was basically a janitor at a shop factory. So I'd like clean up metal and shit at a CNC weld shop, clean toilets and stuff like that. We had a boss. His name was Bob. He owned the whole company. He cheated on his wife all the time. So we had this weird agreement, me and Bob, where I would smoke so much weed at night at the place, and he would come in sometimes and sleep on the couch when he cheated on his wife, and I just wouldn't say anything about it. Okay. So we had this silent agreement. But one time, Bob came in, and I just thought he was going to go to sleep on the couch, and I was going to mop and ignore him like I usually do. Mm-hmm. Well, the owner of the company's fucking asleep. But he says, "Hey, come here," and he took me down the road. And for whatever reason, I don't really remember the contextual situation of this, but he had me move chickens. Like he had a chicken pen. I don't really remember. I remember the moving chickens portions of this. What time of the day is this? Is this at night?
Yes, it is 10:45 at night. So he just brings me to this property. Yeah, he just had me I think there was chickens in a pen that he needed in a cage that he was moving somewhere, and he just didn't want to fucking do it. And he was like, "I hire you to work in my metal shop. I can ask you to do this too, and that's appropriate."
Oh, that's a great answer, man.
We just went and moved these chickens. Then I went back and finished, sweeping. That was a dope job, though. It was the perfect job for comedy because, I worked nights, and they didn't care when I came in. As long as the floors were swept and the metal was picked up, they didn't give a fuck when I was there.
Nice.
So, I did shows at the Hard Rock on my lunch break and just went back to that job. Just right down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just didn't care. I didn't have to tell anybody. So if I had a show, I just clocked out, left. I would go back. I could, my shift was 3:30 to midnight. I would come in at 10 a.m. work early and leave and go to open mics, and they just never said anything. So it was the perfect job.
That is perfect.
That is
Kind of miss that
perfect.
job sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, Trevor, how old are you?
I'm 31.
31. Perfect. Okay, so what do you think is the dumbest thing that you did in your 20s?
Go to college.
Oh.
Goddamn, these
Sought
student
out
loans
an
about to bite me in
education.
the ass, boys. Have you seen this shit? This is not good. This is not good. They're trying to end my career.
I've got some student loans for a degree that I did not get that I'm still trying to pay off, so I get it 100%.
Yeah, I have sunk cost fallacy with things, which is probably why I'm still doing college. But I don't know. As soon as I was smart enough to understand how fucked I was, I feel like I couldn't quit.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished, and I haven't used it. You see how that's going. It's not that bad. I actually just logged on. The situation is worse for a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
You should be able to, like, if you're not using your degree, you should be able to go and, like, get a refund. Like, hey, I'm not even using
No, yeah, I want to bankrupt that shit. I don't take it. I don't care. Can you reimburse the knowledge I have about fucking, I don't know. I don't even know.
That's what one of my art teachers said. He was like, they could take your family, they could take your house, they could take everything you own, but they can't take your education. And I was like, well,
I wish they could. I wish they could take that back and me get that money back. That would be great.
No, yeah, soft mallet, just a few. Let's bring back lobotomies to reimburse student loans.
yeah, right? Yes. yes. But they're very good at it. Like, we're taking out
You
from...
want to deduct $30,000? That's the ice pick to the left orbital. That's
perfect. Yeah, we're taking away...
have fun working in the rubber factory.
I would love that. Give me the rubber brain. I don't care. Okay. Last question about age. Very short section here. What do you think is the dumbest purchase you've ever made?
My college degree.
Nice.
That flowed right
I'm
into
just
that.
kidding. That's not a purchase. I haven't bought that yet. I don't know. I drive a 2002 Mustang. That's probably a pretty dumb purchase.
Wow. What color is it?
Yeah, it's blue. There was logic to it. See, I drove a Honda, a 2012 Honda Accord. I bought it at 50,000 miles, which is pretty brand new.
Yeah.
It had, I think, 318,000 miles by the time I sold it. So it was going to go. Like, I don't think those cars are long lived, but that's about as long lived as those cars are. So I needed to figure something out, and I don't have a job, so I can't like put myself under the financial pressure of reoccurring payments. That's how comedy dies.
Right.
So I needed a cash car that was like cool, and also I'm like, I don't know, like ADHD, verging on autistic sometimes with like hyper focus. So I like get really into things. So a few years back, I went and purchased like this kid's VR game system, like this VR race sim setup.
Yeah.
And then I got really into sim drifting. Did that for hours a day, many hours a day, sim drifting. So that went, it went from that interest to like, I want to take apart a car. So I needed a car I could take apart because I don't know why I couldn't take apart the Honda. I had it in my brain that it was too new, which is really stupid. Yeah. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about cars to make that proclamation. But I was like, I need something old. They're easier to take apart, right?
Yeah.
So, and it was going to fall apart anyways. I needed a new vehicle. So my buddy in Texas, he kind of flips cars. He had this old Mustang. He had just rebuilt the motor. So the motor has less than 13,000 miles on the rebuild. It's not bad, but the body is, a 2002 Mustang body. So it needs new fucking everything.
Right.
I mean, I bought it to learn how to take shit apart and put stuff together, and it's working. I mean, I take it apart way more than I want to, but I kind of know how to fix cars now. It's dope.
That's great,
Not,
man.
Fix cars, but I understand that I can do it.
Right. With enough
Like
YouTube and enough determination, you can figure it out.
Yes, and it honestly is the perfect car to do so, because like those fucking 4.6 liter Ford engines, a million rednecks have taken them apart. A million videos have been put on YouTube about it. You can find an old white dude that would hate you dating his daughter, but he will teach you about that engine, and it's cool.
Dude, actually, that's the next time I buy a vehicle, I'm going to look specifically for a vehicle that has a lot of maintenance videos on YouTube. That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's a great way to go.
Yeah. I mean, you may have to fix it more, but at least the information to fix it's out there. I never even thought of that before.
Oh, dude. And
honestly, it's kind of going how I thought. Like, it's not running right now, but I know it needs a new alternator. I can do that like literally today. I understand what it needs. It really hasn't been It was a dumb purchase. I'm gonna trade it in, but I'll probably make money on it. I only spent 3 grand on it. It's a coupe V8 right now. Those Mustangs are gonna appreciate in the next few years. So it was a dumb purchase in the short term, but I'll probably be okay on it.
Nice.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Now we're going to move into some political questions, which we always love on this show. And starting out,
Hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
what is your most bigoted opinion?
Drag is not an art form to be respected. Not drag, not drag. Let me think about that. What am I thinking? What when they sing, when they lip sing?
Burlesque?
Maybe? No.
Burlesque is like
Maybe.
stripper light.
Oh,
That's like
yeah.
you're kind of naked, kind of not.
I think I think drag is like.
Do they lip sync at drag?
Yeah, it's pretty much.
Is it drag? Do they lip sync? Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a dude in a dance singing Miley Cyrus and people are shoving dollars down his pants, and it's not because I have anything against gay people at all. I love gay people. Gay people are fine. I just don't respect it as an art form because why can't they sing themselves? That annoys me.
Yeah. If you have to have a vocal backtrack doing the song for you, that's not artistic.
Well, also, there's a lot. I've done comedy in those shows. I've done comedy drag shows before, like mixed comedy drag shows, and that's fine. But also, I just think it's rooted in jealousy that people don't shove money down my pants. I just feel like why. Why aren't you singing? Why it just feels like a weird thing to be so excited about because people are so excited about it. They get so fucking excited about it, dog, and I just don't get that. I just don't understand it.
Like, hey, that's a great answer, man.
Is the talent?
But they should have a place to do it. I don't, like I said, it's bigoted because I just think it's dumb. I don't care. Jesus Christ. See, I'm too close to having a career. You guys fucked me up.
It's over.
You guys are used to all the other people.
Right. We're used to the open micers that just come in and say a wild off the wall shit.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Everybody else is probably going to watch this. That was probably fodder.
I do agree though. Like, what's the talent there? Is it the makeup? Is it just that they could squeeze in that the corset? Because
I think at one point it was just like the impetus that I am going to do this, and a large white man might beat the shit out of me. So it's kind of like risky, and there was like some there was some there to it. But
right
at this point, you're just lip syncing at a bar.
Yeah, there's no. You don't even have enough self-respect to do karaoke. Like
it's karaoke plus. But there are if you're a drag person that does sing, total respect. That's fine. Yeah. If you're a dude in a dress that can really sing some good stuff, that's cool. But just like, the lip syncing, that bothers me. You're making more money than I am on a given night, and that really pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, lip syncing is going to put you on autistic registration there with RFK Jr.
Really, dancing's impressive. I just, jokes are really hard to write.
Right. Absolutely, man.
We arguably make less money since the 80s. So
right. There's that too. Going on to our next political question. What is a conspiracy theory that you low-key believe?
I genuinely think right now that there's like a targeted push towards educated people, because those would be the people to, organize and fight towards civil liberties right now and push back towards authoritarianism spreading. And you can't do that when you can't fucking pay your bills. So like, I really think that there's like a almost Mao Chinese push towards like anti-intellectualism right now.
I never even thought of it like
That's
that.
Deep.
Yeah, that is deep.
That's real.
But it's dumb people are easier to control. It's the same reason why the Catholic Church didn't want people to read, because like when you go into when you're a 16th century rice farmer and you go into a church or a cathedral and it's the grandest building you've ever seen, you can't even imagine how they've built this. And a bunch of dudes are wearing dresses, speaking in a language you don't understand, claiming that they talk to God. You might be fooled into, believing in Jeebus too. I think that's like what they're doing societally. Like, we're way easier to control if we're 16th century rice farmers who think that the government's a bunch of dudes in dresses who dress like wizards.
Oh man, yeah, that's
That may be one of my favorite conspiracies yet. That's
well, I mean, that's the
real.
student loan stuff. Like, yes, we did take the money out. We should pay it back. But also, like, we can't deny that we were raised in an environment of like, get a college degree. That's the only way you're gonna succeed. Like, you were raised in like the early 2000s, late 90s. That's what the fuck you were told.
Yep.
At least I was. My parents didn't graduate high school. They didn't fucking know any better. So like, to go from that to the switch of like, if you owe student money, you are the enemy, fucking targeting colleges for fucking protests and restricting grant money and shit like that. Like, it feels like an active target towards intellectualism and educated people, because those are the people who organize.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely fair.
Yeah, I think you just changed my life.
Well, it's happened before. There's so much historical precedent.
Right.
Like, that's what you do.
History
Like,
repeats.
mines are so much more dangerous than guns.
Absolutely.
Shit, dude. I like you a lot, Trevor. I'm really glad you're on.
Oh, thanks.
Now, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on, whether you vote right or you vote left, what would a candidate on the opposite side have to promise to get you to vote for them?
Fucking, it's hard to not just have like a reason. I want to say something funny, you know, but it's hard to just not say like, you know, basic health care and shit. Like, fucking, my shoulder hurts, dog.
Yeah, that's why we put this question in here.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know, because I think like even that question, it's just the other side. Because if they were offering something like healthcare, are they the other side? I don't know.
Right?
I mean,
are they our enemy?
Because,
Is that our opponent?
yeah, like,
if they want basic human rights, we're all human.
well, at this point, I think both sides are the other side, and anybody who doesn't understand that really isn't looking at like the nuanced big picture. Like, I don't remember where I heard it, but the Republicans are dumb and the Democrats are evil. Nobody is actually really trying to actively work for the betterment of the average person, because it's not incentivized.
Right. That's not where the money is.
We run off human labor.
Right.
Which I don't really understand that. We're going to fucking replace all of these jobs with robots in 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm just glad the heat's off the Mexicans, man.
Yeah, dude, finally. You sound a lot like Carlin. Like, there's some Carlin stuff.
I really appreciate that. That's a huge compliment. Thank you.
All right, we've got...
I don't know. Well, I think we're in we're in a fun time as comedians where it's a little dangerous, and I think that's good.
Absolutely.
I mean, at least for the art form. It might not be good for us, like in the case that, you know, I don't want to be in a mass grave or something, but I do think that, like, I don't know, it's cool to have fodder. Not many people have the opportunity to have a voice, and I think it's cool. It's one of the cool aspects of this job, I guess.
It's very punk rock.
Yeah, exactly. I do think it is. I don't think it's like our responsibility to provide societal change or anything like that. But I do think if you're kind of a pussy if you're not talking about the stuff going on.
Right.
Absolutely. And you like the fact that it has stakes and that it can go off the rails, and because things are so polarized right now, that those stakes and that danger is what makes it fun. That's what makes it
it should
really
be emotional. Like I think a good joke should make some people angry, but I do think like that's under the explicit like expectation that it's a good joke. You put work into it. There's structure there, because there was I think we're experiencing the rebound of like, say shocking slur, get laugh, where we have been in the last few years. That was like the low-hanging fruit was the thing to be joked about the last few years. And the fact that people were saying it was so shocking, and it was like, oh my God, wow, people are, you know, saying whatever. But I think the bounce back to that of like, okay, sure, you're going to say it, but like write a joke around it is probably coming at a good time.
Yeah.
Right.
If you were running for office, what is a campaign promise you would make?
Fuck, man. That's hard to say. There's so many, like, just the individual promise. I think we should have disillusionment of the whole two-party thing. That's bullshit entirely. And I don't know that that's possible, because like it doesn't allow for nuance, which is the whole problem with everything. People are this or that, and then they're so tied to that belief that it's intrinsic to who they are. But I don't know how you would get rid of that. I don't know how you would start.
We need a common
deconstructing
enemy.
that kind of thinking.
Yeah.
We need a common enemy. Is what we need. Both parties need.
Just fucking. We get back into conspiracy theories. I genuinely think that's like for a while I was thinking that's where all the alien stuff was going, was that like people started loving brown people a little bit too much and we needed another fucking brown person to point our guns towards. There's too much equality. We need fucking
Human rights is one thing, but these motherfuckers don't even have genitalia that I can judge.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you do need a common enemy. I don't know what the fucking answer to anything is. My platform might be develop computers enough to give it to them. I don't think people. I don't think we're the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that float around a lot here recently, where like it may be better to, once AI achieves like general intelligence, it's like, all right, you run this shit because we obviously can't.
That's the singularity.
There's a lot of. I read a shitload of like really nerdy science fiction, and there's a lot of ideas. Like, okay, so like Elon Musk Neuralink, say we can like tap into your thoughts or whatever, and we put that into everybody's brain. Then you can have something that's like a general consensus, like a thought consensus, So like there's things that technology might allow for that we just can't even conceive of, that might open up for new types of government that we can't conceive of. Right. Which I think that's, idealistic. Hopefully that happens, but I don't know how I got onto that.
Yeah. All right. Our final political question is: if you could heckle any politician in history, who would it be, and what would you say?
And I would say duck.
That's great.
I don't know, man. I've been pretty apolitical right up until the point of my life where it started affecting me personally, which is a problem with a lot of people.
Yeah. It's a lot worse in the last few years.
I'm sorry?
Oh, sorry. I said it's a lot worse in the last few years. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think it's good and bad that it is affecting more people, like on a personal level. I was talking to my girlfriend about that earlier today, just about how most people got to live in the dumb bliss of the president never affecting them. Like the national politics, for the most part, didn't affect a lot of people's lives, but that's percentage is slowly flipping on its head. So maybe people will do stuff. I don't know. I think it'd be fun to heckle fucking Winston Churchill, I guess.
That would be fun.
Yeah. You're going to get some pushbacks there.
Yeah, absolutely. I know Winston Churchill is basically a god in England.
Gandhi had weird nipples. That would be.
Hey, Gandhi, nice nips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That's incredible. Okay. All right. So you said you had a girlfriend, currently in a relationship then, yes?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Excellent. What do you think is the weirdest or most regrettable message that you've ever sent to a significant other or a potential significant other?
I was for a while there. I was like going real fuck it and just sending people really obtuse stuff. And I think I sent people. It was, hey, are you the White House in 2010? Because I think you'd look much better with a brown person inside of you. And
That's great. That's clever.
That's not even embarrassing. I love that.
Yeah. I dropped my panties for you.
It's funny. I think it's good writing. I do think it's good writing. I just don't think it's the kind of thing you want, floating around as a thing that you're just, shooting out like shotgun shells.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think is the worst gift you've ever given a significant other?
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
That's a great answer, actually. Like,
no,
because you forgot?
I'm historically bad at that shit. Not because I blame it on my childhood, but at this point, it's my personal responsibility to care, and I understand that as a person. But yeah, I'm really bad at that. I'm really bad at I don't care about that stuff, and I think I extend my own apathy towards that stuff to other people. I'm like, it's not important to me. Why would it be important to you?
Right.
Which is the wrong answer.
Oh. Especially to someone that loves you.
Yes, it's the absolute wrong answer.
All right.
I've historically been a piece of shit in that category.
Well, that's fair. You're a human male, and I think there's a big chunk of the human male evolution that is being a piece of shit. Okay,
that's true.
What do you think is in a relationship? What do you think is the biggest red flag that you've ignored?
One time I dated a girl who just didn't get a job for 6 years.
Whoa.
Oh, so you just had to pay for everything?
6 years.
That wasn't quite that long. And, pay for everything is a really, really big stretch. We didn't do much.
Okay.
If everything is the weed, then yeah. But yeah, it was.
That's fair. Okay.
Yeah, it was mostly a in college thing. Was we all had those situations you let go on for years longer than they actually should.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so if I was to ask one of your exes or your current girlfriend, what would they say is your biggest red flag?
Let's see. I don't know if I have any big ones. It's more like small scatterings of tiny little flags, like a construction site that's in like you're
marking
trying
the
to track
line.
a gas line.
Yeah.
It's really like King Leonidas at the end of 300. It's just a small.
Jesus.
I'm trying real hard, but I don't know. I don't have insurance and I'm 6 years behind on my taxes.
That's a pretty big red flag,
Yeah.
dude.
All right.
You gotta have a lot of faith in me, which I'm very lucky she does.
Hell, just meeting you for this past hour, I have a lot of faith in you. I like you, Trevor.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
So moving on to questions about your family. What is the most embarrassing thing your parents have ever caught you doing?
Like, past the typical, there was general jerk and stuff in my childhood.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in the time of where kids still had to hide, like, restricted items, in which case it was like, I remember one time, my dad found, I think it was literally like stereotypically the back of a Sears magazine. I shit you not. It was like the bra advertisement section. I was 10 years old or something like that. And I remember my stepdad pulled up my mattress because I kept it under my mattress like a mobster keeps his gun.
Yeah.
And he went, "Yep, this is beaten material." And I didn't know what I didn't know that beaten was a synonym for jerking off. I just knew of jerking off. So I thought I was going to get beaten. I don't think there was anything more embarrassing past just like that. General.
Yeah, just general being a young man coming.
Oh
into
yeah,
puberty.
yes. I probably in MySpace stuff. I haven't even thought about this in years. Thanks, wow. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, MySpace gooning. Like them looking through your messages, those 14-year-old boys, you're not doing anything good on MySpace messages. I don't remember what specifically I was saying, but I was saying some bullshit to some people. And I remember they were like quoting stuff from my messages one day. It's like shitty game I was spitting as a 14-year-old and it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You said you're 31, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to be 38 this year. And we used to do a thing called, before MySpace, it was called Greatest Journal. And it was a website where you could go.
That sounds Canadian.
Yeah. It was, you could go on, I think it was a Canadian based website. You could go on and you would just basically write an article. It's like a journal, like an online journal that other people could read. And man,
that's a terrible idea.
It was so bad. And
it's like a blog.
Yeah, it was like a blog. It was before blogs.
Yeah.
But man, they would be like, today we went and saw Spider-Man 2 and I held Megan's hand in the theater. No big deal. But like
the stuff that we thought we'd care about.
Right.
Yeah, I thought we cared about. But one of my buddies, we were like maybe 13, and he went to town. He went to town on a Greatest Journal entry about how and why he would kill himself.
Oh.
And dude,
is he okay?
He's still
Did he do it?
alive. No, he's still very alive. I'm sure he wishes he would have back in the day. I think now he works at like Academy, or no, he's a Terminator. He's a exterminator, not a Terminator.
The only good way that story ends is if he's like a weird creative that wears bandanas on his wrists like Johnny Depp. That's the only good outcome to like a guy who wrote an artful story about how he's going to kill himself in early internet stuff.
I think he has a silk scarf around like the sprayer that he sprays around people's houses to kill bugs. But other than that, yeah, he's pretty basic. But man, we all got like a meeting with all the families, all the parents. They had to like get us to answer and like, what is this about? What is that about? It was awful. And you just brought all that back to me. I blocked that out of my body.
Yeah, I got a MySpace before I was allowed to get a MySpace, and it was a big contention with me and my family. They didn't let me go to church camp because of it, and that was a big deal. That sucked. But I remember, you know how they would have like flash ads, like just stuff you can't control that would pop up on like your MySpace or whatever. One time they were looking through my MySpace and they were looking through one of my friend's profiles, and this like advertisement popped up. I don't know if it was an ad or if it was a meme or what the fuck it was, but it said, if this is blue, I'm thinking about sex. And it was just like a blue square. And they called her parents.
Oh,
like they called her parents. It was like, hey, you need to know what your daughter's doing. And
and she has no control over that ad.
no, and I'm just a kid that goes to her school.
Yeah.
She's not even in my top friends on MySpace.
I forgot about that too. That was a problem. School wasn't a good time for me.
I get it, man. Fair. It's not a good time for a lot of people. In the same kind of vein, what is the biggest secret you've ever kept from your parents?
Oh no, I've had a really good relationship with my mom, where like I know she almost aborted me, and that gives me carte blanche to really kind of tell her a lot. I guess as kids, just like, you know, normal regular kid shit, but I don't think I ever really.
Memory.
I did go to spring break with my girlfriend my senior year.
Yeah,
I just didn't tell her about it. We went to Oklahoma City. She doesn't know that I went there. That's just, you know,
the big spring break destination, Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's, you know, well, fuck. My parents were super strict, so it was a big deal to me at the time because I thought I was gonna die.
Hilarious.
Our final question about family stuff is, what is the relative, or who is the relative you avoid the most, and why?
Oh, that's another pepper answer, huh? Oh, fuck. Do we go to the dark answer? Like, my grandpa, because he fucked my mom. That's, you know.
Whoa. That's a reasonable reason to avoid somebody.
No, well, yeah, I have a lot of my family's old white people from like southern Texas, so there's a lot of like pedophilia and weird gross shit. There's a lot of uncles I will have nothing to do with, a lot of like cousins I'll have nothing to do with, but they all don't have anything to do with me, mostly because I'm brown, so it's cool.
Oh, that's fair.
They're just not good people.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot of that like gross shit in my family.
Oh man,
that's unfortunate.
No, that was an unfortunate thing to probably say on this podcast.
Did not expect that.
I didn't either. That was great. Thank you for being so candid.
Yeah, it's fine.
All right. Okay. All right. Last section here is some personal questions. This one's not that scary. What are you a huge fan of? It could be movies, anime, sports, music. What's that one thing that like people see it and they think of you?
I think is I don't know. My brain, like I said, I think I mentioned it earlier a little bit, where I hyper focus on things. So my interests are pretty expendable. I'll be really into something for 6 months and then never pick it up again. Yeah, so like, right. I think the only through line in my life the last 10 years has been comedy. I don't know, man. That's kind of a problem I've had in the past like year. I realized I need to enjoy things again. Because I've forgotten how to do that and like actually be interested in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's very fair. Like honestly, that's in the last year I have had to remind myself that, you know, especially on stage, especially doing stand up, like it's so important to remind yourself to have fun while you're doing it. Like, because
it's supposed to be fun. We're supposed to be silly geese, and this is supposed to like not be a serious, like horrible thing.
Right.
It's really difficult.
It can be,
especially when you're like relying on it for income. It's not like you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Most people shouldn't, because it gets to a point where like it's not. You need to enjoy this for it to be believable, and you're at a point where you're like you can no longer enjoy it because it's a necessity. That's I think a trap that like I've had to avoid falling into.
Right. It's something you have to be in front of all the time. You have to really remind yourself, like, hey, remember, this isn't the end game today. This open mic. Let's have fun while we're here, you know? Okay.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be fun. Otherwise, I think you can get lost in like a lot of years of misery trying to make something happen that's just never is going to occur.
Yeah.
And for the reality, your expectations aren't going to happen. Whatever you think is going to come of this isn't. Like, well, even if it's good, it's not going to be the good you thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Precisely. And I think we all know comics like that let it get to them a little too much.
That's me personally. Like I'm not the nicest sounding person on my Facebook feed all the time. Like I very clearly let shit get to me too much sometimes. But it's I think real easy to become the jaded old guy doing this too long.
It really is. It really is. Okay. I think you've got a good answer for this. What do you think is the pettiest thing that you've ever done to get revenge on someone?
There's always like a filter list when you ask these questions because it's like, okay, does petty mean mean? Like like I had an aunt who would like treat me like a younger brother. She like fucked me up, and I would like put tacks in front of her door as a kid, like hide them in the carpet so they impaled her feet, and we would just do shit like that to each other.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I think that's probably the only like instance of like regular revenge I've ever had on anybody was that I went to a lot of schools, so I didn't really like ever have like a steady group of people to like reflect off of a lot.
Oh, that's fair.
I think I went to like 11 schools by the time everything was said and done.
Jesus. You didn't have time enough to hold a grudge with anyone.
Exactly. No, there's like real shit to that. Yeah.
Okay, this is one of my favorite questions we ask. It's weird, but if you could erase one photo of yourself online, what photo is it, and how would we find it?
Okay. All right. There's any photos from my high school bands, the Honest Politicians, I could do without when I was rapping in my small town, Oklahoma.
The Honest Politicians.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was how I got on stage initially. But yeah, I was in we fucking won the talent show, dog. It was like $100 in my junior year of high school.
Congratulations.
But yeah, there's some pictures of me on stage pre-comedy wearing like some like rape bands or some shit that like aren't really the most flattering of myself.
Yeah.
I could picture it.
There might be videos too. I don't know.
We'll try to find them. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. What do you think is the most absurd thing you've ever done to avoid paying for something?
Steal.
Hell yeah, dude. Do you steal pretty often?
No, but like, I don't know. Like when I was a kid, yes. Yeah, for sure. When I was a kid and I wanted some shit, I would just take that shit. Like I had kind of a problem with that as a kid. But no, not really as an adult. The only time like I could think of like stealing anything, I stole a pack of chicken from Walmart like a year ago, probably.
Yeah.
Because like it wouldn't scan and nobody would come quick enough to scan it. And I don't like working. I've never wanted to be a cashier, and I think it's bullshit that we all are part-time.
Yeah, that's Walmart's fault. That's not really your fault. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, other petty theft.
They've actually got
the question though.
The most absurd thing you've ever done to avoid paying for something.
Oh, to avoid paying for something. My answer was steal.
Yeah. That's fair.
Oh, okay. I used to be really fat. All right. So you remember that McDonald's joke I was talking about being corny? Well, it's from this truth of I used to, I kind of still do this. I had 4 McDonald's accounts, dog, like for their app, because, you know, there's a 15-minute runoff time, and some of those coupons you can only get once a day. So when they're giving away $1 Big Macs, though, so it's like, I guess not avoid paying for something. I would log into a separate account and go back through the drive-through multiple times to get many $1 Big Macs.
That's just
which isn't like
working the system, dude.
Yeah, I mean
That's being
it's
a road
smart,
comic.
but it's also it's pretty pathetic.
I love that. Actually, I'm gonna make another McDonald's account.
I went on the road with.
I think they fixed it. You can't do it anymore. I think whatever they do, the app tracks some sort of deeper metadata to where now you can't just log out.
Gotcha.
Like you log in, they can tell you signed in on another account before 15 minutes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I know too much about this.
I found this out when I went on the road with Antonio Aguilar. He's a buddy of mine.
Oh yeah, I know Antonio.
And he took me from Arkansas all the way up through like we did Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, and every time we stopped to eat, he would break out the Burger King app, the Wendy's app, the McDonald's app, and just start gaming it and be like, all right, look, we can get this, we can get the fries from Wendy's, we can get the burger here, we can get this here, and we're going to pay 50 cents. And I don't know how the fuck he did it, but he had them
I don't know why.
down.
I feel kind of personally insulted that he's jacking my swag. I didn't know people thought like I did. Nobody's unique. Nobody has
we're all
the
hacked.
Individual thought ever.
No original thoughts anymore. Okay, last question here. What movie do you love that everyone else hates?
Everybody else hates. I don't know, because everybody loves every movie. Like my favorite movie is Willy Wonka. Some people would say they hate Willy Wonka, but I love Willy Wonka. It's a childhood favorite of mine. It's creepy as shit. Kids die. That's cool. I don't know, man. Yeah.
That's
what movie do you hate?
Well, I hate a lot of movies.
That everybody else likes.
A movie that I hate that everyone else likes.
Maybe that's a better question.
Kind of the opposite question, but yeah, it's kind of a better way to do it. Yeah, it's a better question though.
Like that everybody else hates. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
no, but that's a better way to ask it because I do I hate I don't like Pride and Prejudice. Everyone loves that. The Princess Bride. I don't dig it. I
think my issue is I don't watch a lot of movies. That's my problem. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm trying to really consume stuff because for so long I've just been I work a lot. I do a lot of and then YouTube. I'm basically brain rotted to the point where to sit down for an hour and a half makes me itch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss the old days where you could just turn on the TV and it was cable and there would be something on.
Curated stuff. Yeah.
I could just turn it on, zone out. But now I'm I got my food ready. I got my sandwich, got my chips. I'm ready to eat. But now I got to scroll for 15 minutes to find something I want to watch before I can.
Yeah, everything's become ritualized. There's too many options, and that makes everybody a favorite way to do stuff, and it's kind of creating problems in itself.
Netflix introduced the random button though. You can just click a random
That's
button.
Nice.
It'll just start playing a random show from a random season from a random series, and I love that.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I don't even have Netflix anymore. Everything's been too compartmentalized to the point where there's free streaming sites that you just have to. If you have a computer you don't care about, just give that thing 15,000 Trojans every single day.
Yeah, I love
just
that.
Click through the ads. It's fine. I think I use BroccoFlix. It's cool.
Trevor, before we get out of here, what is your social media handle for any of our listeners that'd like to follow you?
I'll be at Trever Carreon across all platforms. It's Trevor with an E, E-R. Nothing's cooler with a hard R. I wish it was Treva. TreverCarreon.
Nice. And do you have any big shows coming up you'd like us to hype up before we get out of here?
Oh, I'm featuring at Bricktown Comedy Tulsa 2 days. This Wednesday for Peter Antoneau. Peter Antoneau, a magician, psychic comedian guy. It'd be fun.
Hell yeah.
Nice. All right.
Those guys usually fill the seats pretty well. So yeah, I'll be at Bricktown Comedy Tulsa this Wednesday. But other than that, it's been a dry few months. It happens.
Yeah.
Well, you are a Tulsa favorite. I see you all over. You're at Bricktown. You're at the Looney Bin. So anyone in the Tulsa area, if you want to see Trevor, just keep your ear to the ground on the Tulsa scene, and you will pop up here in the next.
I'll be around. Yeah. I'm doing stuff somewhere.
I think you even popped into Bricktown open mic while Bair and I were there. We got to we saw.
Oh yeah. That was a few weeks ago. I forgot about that. Yeah.
You didn't even perform, but you just showed up. So it was, that was nice. It's good to see you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm so busy lately, so I'm just trying to. I think you have to do that especially at Bricktown. It's a really good club. They treat us really well. And you get to work for them. So I try to like go in there and just say hi sometimes, which I think is a huge part of like, getting booked, unfortunately.
I do too.
Yeah.
Just showing face.
Especially at your local club.
Exactly.
Like you can't do it.
People will forget about you.
They will.
Right. They absolutely will.
All right, man. Well, Trever, thank you so much for doing this. We are so looking forward to seeing you Thursday. If you need anything between now and then, please let us know. But anyone, please check out Trever on social media. Follow and like us. And another shout out to our sponsors, Nabholz Properties and PCSI in Conway.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Trever.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Running a business is hard in many ways, especially when it comes to tech. Not only do you have to maintain your business, but you've also got to maintain a network for you and your clients, keeping yourselves and your customers connected to the world. And who knows who can hack into your information, accessing sensitive files? And what do these wires even do? You don't have to do this alone. Call the experts at Professional Computer Services Incorporated. They've got master technicians that can help you navigate the wild world of networking. They can set up security against cyber attacks. And they'll be there to tell you that it's actually not a networking issue. We're being attacked by a foreign entity, and it's the end of the world. Time to bug out. IT doesn't have to be scary. Call Professional Computer Services Incorporated.
Does your office feel like you're working out of a shoebox? Does your workspace feel as cramped as a sardine can? Are you juggling work and clutter, literally? You don't have to take drastic measures. With Nabholz Properties, space is no longer an issue. Check out this beautiful office space they have available right now in the Argenta Arts District in downtown North Little Rock. Imagine hosting meetings in a room that inspires. Now imagine enjoying the view while closing your next big deal. At Nabholz Properties, success has room to stretch out. Visit nabprop.com today.